You're on.
Good morning. It's Monday, February 5th. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for the town of Tuftonboro. Would you please honor America by standing and pledging? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. We'll start with public input.
Just curious, you don't have to answer now if you don't have the answer, but are you folks going to set up any special rules about, other than the state law, about campaign signs? And I'm particularly interested in being able to campaign up at the transfer station, so if there's any restrictions, I'd like to know what they are so I can abide by them.
I think as far as the polling place, that's up to the moderator.
Yes.
Well, no, I got that one, I know.
Okay.
I was talking about the transfer station.
We could be like Moultonborough and only allow one party to campaign at the transfer station. We'll happen to choose the Republican Party. Whatever choices we'd like.
That really happened?
Yeah. The Moultonborough Taliban was working its way.
You're on tape.
I hope so. I hope there are people from Moultonborough watching.
Well, we have state laws, correct?
Actually, it's up to the selectmen where
Okay.
if, we need to make policy, because each board of selectmen can change the policy. It's like putting signs on town property,
Right.
that sort of thing.
What are your wishes? Or is it something you want to think about?
So are you want to campaign up there or you want to put signs up there?
I hadn't thought of putting signs up there. I didn't think that was appropriate unless it's allowed. If it's allowed.
In my opinion, I agree with you. It's not
Yeah.
appropriate to put signs up there, but,
Yeah,
um,
but I certainly would like to be able to hang out up there and talk to people without interrupting.
Tradition.
Yes.
Gotta be able to campaign at the transfer station.
Right.
And if you tell me no objections other than to work it out with Clay, I'll do that. And if there's an issue, I'll come back and see it.
What are your wishes?
I guess my opinion is that that campaigning at the transfer station, as long as it doesn't interfere with the operation up there, or it doesn't, it isn't harassing to individuals, it is acceptable. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but
Fine.
let Clay decide.
Yeah.
We're all reasonable.
Okay, and if something's cooking up there that you need to let me know about, please have somebody let me know.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Dan Bislin, and my wife Lisa Cohen. We live on the corner of 80 Southern Road and County Road. We have been, before the selectmen in the past, regarding the safety of, and the work that they had done prior to 2010 on the drainage. When we came back here, we found that the drainage had been diverted onto our property, which then was actually eroding our property. Since that time, when we addressed the board, immediately Jimmy Bean and his crew came in and they fixed the problem, and I'm very appreciative of the workmanship that they did in correcting it. However, that was one concern. Our second concern was that since the upgrading of that road, they've never posted a sign, a speed limit on that sign. Sunquist made a comment to us that if it's a dirt road and it's not posted, it's automatically a 30-mile-an-hour road, which I defy any of the law officers in this town to agree with that. They would not. 15 miles an hour is a reasonable speed for county road. Are you all familiar where I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is this the,
This is the seasonal part of County
okay, the
Road.
section, the Sodom Road end section, so you're in the brown house there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And
And
how do you know it's 30 miles an hour?
well, her comment to us is that any town, any road in the town of Tufton Road that is not posted, it's a 30 mile an hour. Bill Stockton, he spoke up and said that County Road is definitely not a 30 mile an hour road. I have spoken to some of the law enforcement here, and they would agree that 15 miles an hour is a reasonable speed. The issue that has arose lately is over the past 4 to 6 weeks, there has been a employee of Community Landscape that has taken it upon himself to plow County Road, therefore causing a great deal of danger for my wife and I trying to pull out of our driveway onto County Road to pull out. So our driveway comes in on County and back out on the Sodom. It's a loop. But when he plowed that, he created two issues for me. One, he created a snowbank in both sides of my driveway, and which my wife couldn't get out. And second, after it thawed, it was nothing but a sheet of ice. And there's been 2 vehicles, both within our property line, on both sides of the road. We own both sides of the road, that have gone off the road and into the ditch. And it's just becoming a continuous safety hazard for my wife and I.
And that came up at the last meeting we had with Jim Beam.
Right.
Yeah.
That somebody had plowed County Road
And like Monterey, yeah.
yeah.
The young man gave me his name. He was actually passed out behind the wheel in the middle of Sodom Road. I was in my house. I watched him come down the road, and he had done this the week prior to it when I wasn't home. My wife saw him, and he did the same thing. He was passed out behind the wheel. Hence the problem, as you can see, that it's nothing but a sheer ice. This is used for people like, yeah, and that's our driveway. Anybody coming down County Road, we have a problem in the summertime because people there is no sign speed posted for speed, so they come down at whatever speed they so desire, which in several cases we've had incidences of getting T-boned trying to pull out of our driveway. So we're asking the town to
What's the speed?
we're asking the town to either to prevent the further actions of individuals taking it upon themselves to plow County Road would be during the December 10th to April 10th no maintenance statute. They put some sort of barrier so that it can't be for our safety, and then in the springtime or summertime, if not only they could post the road, but if by putting a, like I call a speed bump prior to our property, just before our property, which actually would act as 2 things. One, it would divert the water if it was diverted to the other side where they put the culvert in. So any of the water coming down County Road would hit this so-called speed bump, but it would divert the water into the drainage that they created to keep the road from washing out. And 2, it would protect us from people coming down County Road at a rate of speed that they shouldn't be traveling. And I've done from New Road, bottom of County Road, to New Road, and on several occasions, and I've gone down New Road to Sodom, Sodom to County, and have timed it, doing the speed limit. And if you do the same thing, come up over County Road, do the speed limit, and I take it from the top where it turns to dirt at Joan Gales, and I do 15 miles an hour, there is no time saving. The problem is that people don't abide by the speed limit, and they're causing, safety concerns for people that not only live on the tar part of County Road, and Clay has voiced his concern. We had problems with a young man, and the town took care of it. They addressed it with the young man, and he subsequently was taken before the Concord board for license issues regarding so many tickets and speeding was the main thing. So, I guess,
Could you give your name and address and information to Karen, and she can have the road agent and the
yeah,
police chief contact you?
yeah,
There is an established procedure, I don't remember exactly what it is, for posting a lowered speed limit. We did that on Black Pond Road. It has to do with I think we have to do a traffic study, the police have to do a traffic study and that sort of thing before we do it. But in my opinion, a lowered speed limit makes sense on the seasonal part of County Road for sure.
the problem isn't when there's gonna be an accident. The problem, the problem is gonna be when. Because, and I'm talking about in the summertime, it's barely two passable lane. I'm certainly not promoting that they make it any bigger. From the time that we bought the property back in '93, you know, basically the only people that ever went up that road were guys looking for deer. And subsequently, they've upgraded the road and made it bigger and larger, and more people have been using it. But I do know that it's used that, you know, people think it's a shortcut, but and it is if you're not doing the speed limit. So it's actually promoting a behavior that, you know, is not, conducive upon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Spring.
Yeah, I have reported it, both incidents
Excuse
were
me, sir,
reported.
we're
Yep.
running a little
Yep.
bit late.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to
No,
shut
no,
you
I
off.
understand what's going on.
Just trying to be a moderator and move things
Yep.
along.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, good to see you again. We have a 9:10 appointment, Chris Fournier, HED. Come on down.
Sure. All right, Karen asked me to come in and talk about the recently submitted proposal or contract amendment that we provided to provide bidding assistance and
That's this.
construction administration services for the Sodom Road Bridge.
Right.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So you provided us with an estimate, an estimated range of a cost to repair the bridge and restore it to full load-bearing capacity. And the only way we're gonna get from that wide range of estimated cost to
Awesome, thank you.
something that's a real number is we gotta put it out to bid, right?
Yes.
And what you have done is you gave us a proposal for the administration of the bid process. Is that correct?
And the construction.
And the construction of the. And so we're talking.
Yeah, it's shown better.
It's like, the bidding assistance is like $6,500.
Yep.
Construction administration is estimated at $6,000 to $8,000. And one of the things in projects we've done in the past, and I think, correct me if I'm mischaracterizing this, we've used a third party to do the oversight on projects. Somebody that's not the company that did the engineering, nor the company that's doing the work, but a disinterested third party that engineer that verifies and monitors and verifies that all the work is being done to the project specification to meet the state's requirements. And your proposal is that you would do not just the bidding assistance administration, whatever you want to call it, but also the administration, the oversight of the construction work.
Yes.
And this board has talked in our previous meeting, which is why you're here talking with us today, about our experience and belief that having a third-party engineer do the oversight of a project has some benefits in terms of keeping us all honest, if you will. So maybe you can fill us in a little bit more on, I mean, my recollection is that, in your opinion, having a third party do the administration of the contract is not a good idea. Is that?
No, I mean, I guess this is the first I hear of it.
Okay, all right. Well, and again, that's why we wanted to have the conversation.
Sure.
The next step now is for us to get the project out to bid and to get get proposals in, so we know what we're going to be dealing with. Once we have that in hand, and we award the project after it's approved at town meeting, then we need to engage somebody to monitor the project as it's going forward, make sure it's being done in compliance with the design work that your firm has done and the state's requirements. And any issues that come up can be then raised and dealt with. And I know last project that we did, that you guys engineered, that's exactly how we proceeded. Third-party engineer monitored it. There were some issues that came up. There was conversation. As I remember, you folks were engaged in the conversation, and there were some adjustments that were made to the specification or okayed substitute material or some such thing. My memory isn't crystal clear here, but there was some ongoing involvement of the town, the monitoring engineer, and your company to get the project done in a way that met the state's requirements and dealt with issues that came up as the project progressed, and gave us a good result in the end. So I guess my question, and I apologize, I don't mean to be monopolizing the floor, is we're at a point where we want to go forward and get proposals to do the project. And we would like to engage your company to run that part of the process, what you call the bidding assistance phase. Once we have the proposals in and we're ready to go forward with the project, we may or may not want to use HEB to monitor it. We may want to go with a different, a disinterested third-party engineer to monitor the project. But
Well,
I
there's management and then there's monitoring, in my mind.
okay.
So it's not unlike a developer is gonna build a road. You get hired by the town, make sure the road's built to specs, but you don't actually engineer the road. You don't actually oversee the building of the road. You just make sure it's built to specs and the town's satisfied. And I think what Bill's trying to get at is there are two aspects to this. One is the day-to-day operation of the repair, and you design the repair. And the other is a third-party monitoring of the quality and the compliance of that repair. And our feeling is we need to, bifurcate those two things rather than having one. So is it that we hire HEB to put out the bid, and then we hire HEB to do the compliance? Or do we hire HEB to do the management? But we gotta have two sets of eyes looking at it, because we're not engineers.
Sure, yeah.
And you can make a deal with the guy building the bridge that that's okay, and we don't have any idea what's going on. So it's,
Yeah.
we need a little bit more comfort level.
Yeah, I guess I disagree with that part, because it's like, that would be a complete violation of our code.
No, I'm not saying you do
You know,
that. I'm just
yeah.
saying, I just remember when we were doing a project at the county of the third party rejecting 1,000 yards of fill. The contractor wouldn't have, the engineers might not have, but that third party did, and they had the ability to reject that to make sure its compaction rates were correct, for instance. So it just gives another layer of protection for the money spent. And so it's either, and I'm not gonna monopolize this either, but it's either hire you under the conditions of this contract and then hire somebody else to make sure you did the job right, or change this contract to reflect that you engineered it and put it out to bid, and now you're gonna be the party that makes sure it's done to bid. But there's another day-to-day operation, of clerk of the works, or whatever you wanna call it. That $6,500 fee goes somewhere else. That's sort of what the direction that this conversation's taking.
Yeah.
Disabuse me of anything.
Sure, yeah, I mean, obviously, we're here for the town, so I don't know. I mean, it's in our best interest to work in your best interests. Not only for this project, but for potential future projects and our reputation. So we go around and talk to the past municipalities that we've worked for, our reputation is spot on. So I hope that's of some comfort. This project is a little different than, maybe a bridge replacement project is a cleaner process where that third party process would be more suitable. But the repair is so intertwined with the construction observation of interpreting. When we look at the bridge now, it looks like the last 4 feet of that beam end needs to be repaired. But once they start removing material, there needs to be, an educated person on site that can realize that repair needs to extend to 5 feet. Or maybe that repair doesn't need to go as far, and money could be saved to the town. So the design, of what we can see today and the limits of repair needed, is what we've already prepared. But there will be, with the nature of our in-kind repair, there will need to be adjustments to the field, which causes adjustments to our design, and then causes basically, when all is said and done, someone needs to submit a load rating to the state to say that the bridge is capable of load capacity. Now that's part of our design, but we can only be so confident as what's executed in the field. So if that person in the field doesn't realize that extra concrete repair may need to be done, then that load rating may or may not be valid if we're not properly informed or involved in the process. So this one's not as clean, being that repair. So you mentioned state requirements. I mean, as far as I know, there's no tangible state requirements as this. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the state always has requirements, okay? That's not to say that there's a specific this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
But how does a bridge get a load rating? It's engineered for that load rating, and the engineering work is stamped by a PE, right? And we follow good design practices and that whole thing. And I'm not suggesting there are any special regulations of the state, but when all is said and done, we want the project to be recognized as being done correctly and restoring the bridge to full load carrying capacity, and we will then have a bridge that will carry weight for some period in the future. And obviously, we'd like it to be as long as it can be, which kind of goes back to what you're saying about as they get into the work, making sure that anything that's uncovered, that the engineering work is, takes that into account and is adjusted as required.
And this is a little different in that we were kind of under the gun. I mean, one of the sticking points is that this is never going out to bid. We're the only game in town. I'm uncomfortable with that.
Sure.
Because we're spending the public's money. That said, it's not as if we've got the leisure to spend another year working this out, putting the bid process out for engineering and then the bid process out for the rest of it, because we do need to get that load rating back up as soon as possible. So having said that, I guess my only suggestion would be, how do we put a control in this? I mean, I can see HEB's position, and it's a valid position.
Yes.
How do we bring a comfort level to the oversight? Do we bring in another engineering company for, I don't know.
Well, and again, it may be this is a different enough animal than some of what we've done in the past
Yeah.
that having HEB do whole soup to nuts on it is absolutely the
Only way to go. Yeah.
the right thing to do. You know, in a typical project, you're going to run into some things in the field that are a little bit different. But where this varies from a road reconstruction, I guess in my mind, I think what you're saying is that the end result is so much determined by the condition that's uncovered as the project progresses, as the contractor gets into the work and begins to remove the deteriorated material and get into the middle of it, that your engineer really needs to have his eyeballs into what's going on to verify that what's being done meets your previous view of what the problem was, that it's no more extensive, no less extensive, and that if there's some variation that has to get done, that the design gets adjusted expeditiously and keeps the project going.
Yeah, ultimately, as the engineer of record, I will be stamping with Form 4, and I need the confidence to know that the repair was done as it needed to be done, that corresponds with that Form 4 load rating. Sorry.
I guess I'm persuaded with this project that this is the approach to take.
I think I am as well. I don't want you to think that we're questioning your veracity. I mean, it's only the expenditure of public money, in my mind, needs a few steps. I mean, this one doesn't have one of those steps. I think it is a different enough animal, as Bill put it, to require what we're doing, to try to get this bridge back in line.
Are you prepared to make a decision today?
I am.
And
How are you,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
yes, I agree with what you gentlemen
All
said.
right, so I will move approval of contract with HEB for bidding assistance and construction administration of the repair to the Sodom Road Bridge.
I'll second.
Okay. Any more comments? I have a couple questions.
You're the chairman, sir.
Okay, this is for his firm to put it out to bid, because we need that bid in time for town meeting, correct?
Yes.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay. It does not include whoever is the project engineer or whatever the proper verbiage is. Am I correct?
No.
Well,
It's going to include HEB through the project.
right. So it will include the construction administration, but obviously that will only happen if the project is approved and
So
goes forward.
So there's two monetary amounts in that contract.
There are,
And
yeah.
would you review them for me?
Sure. So the bidding assistance will include a lump sum cost of $6,100 and an estimated reimbursable expenses of $400, which is a total of $6,500
Okay.
estimated. And the construction administration is our services on an hourly basis in accordance with their fee schedule, and the estimated cost of that would be $6,000 to $8,000 to do the construction administration, and that would be part of the project that would be approved
And
on the warrant.
and for purposes of warrant article, what is your suggestion or motion as far as the total price to be included in the warrant?
I would add $8,000 to the warrant article, and we've already made a provision in the operating budget to cover the bidding assistance
The
part.
6,500.
Right. I support that, but I have a question for him. The warrant article, you gave a range. It's not as bad, it's good weather, the steel company doesn't go on strike. And then it was, if it falls in and we have to do it in the worst weather possible, and we cut it right in half. Is that reasonable?
Yes.
Am I putting you on the spot? If
No,
I am, I apologize.
We're here to talk.
Yes.
I think the intent right now is to bid the project prior to town meeting.
So we have
a real number.
a real number to go to
Now,
town meeting
if
with.
you're able to amend that amount on the town floor as those bids come in.
Absolutely.
Yes, we can.
Then that's exactly what we should do. Yeah, then you know what it is. Yeah.
It's my understanding we can do that.
Sure.
Okay, I've answered all the
And
questions.
we're only obligated to HEB's fee schedule. So if the bid comes in at $200,000 and we decide, forget it,
That's right.
we don't owe HEB any of that other $8,000.
That's
No,
right.
that's
Because there's no project
That's only if the
administered.
project's being completed.
Correct.
Okay, the other highways and streets, we increased the operating budget by 6,000, not 6,500.
Okay,
So we would change this.
so we ought to increase that to, the estimate is $6,500 for the bidding administration, so yes, I think we ought to,
We could do
we ought to bump
that.
that up another $500.
Does it make sense for anything connected with the bridge to go from the warrant article, so it can only be spent on the warrant article? Or do
We
something?
have to
Well,
get, this part.
This part, we're
is
gonna
to get
spend the
bid.
money, so we have to include it in the operating budget. Now, the actual execution of the project, which includes the work by the contractor and the monitoring and certification by the engineer, is gonna go to town meeting as a part of the article on the warrant. So that piece, as a total piece, will be voted up or down by town meeting.
Karen, is all that clear in your minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Is there any other discussion from the Board of Selectmen?